Hey guys, it's me, Trish, from Pink Poodle Jewelry Studio here in Montgomery, Pennsylvania. Today we're going to be making a fairy silk charm bracelet. So if that's something you think you'd like to learn how to make, stick around. Okay guys, so let's start out by showing you some examples of the bracelets that I made. This is a pink one that I've made using the fairy silk, and I believe this is the dragon fruit mix. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there's that one. And then there's a purple one that I made using the same piece of fairy silk. This is the ombre, I believe is the name of it, fairy silk. And it has purple in it and has pink in it. And it was just easy to cut them to get the lighter and the darker of each one to kind of give it some depth. And as you can see, it's the same concept with the jump rings and the charms and then the little extender chain. And these ones I've made with sari silk. These were the first few that I made. And it's the same concept. It's just using the sari silk in place of the fairy silk. And same thing here. The only thing different on this one is that I just put a glue-on clasp on it. And you can certainly do that if you're sure exactly what size you want to make and just leave it at that size. If you are making it for yourself or someone as a custom order, that's an easy way to do it. The reason I put the clasp in the extender is obviously because I will be selling my bracelets and I want them to be able to be versatile. All right, so let's go over what materials we're going to be needing. We're going to need 2 6-inch pieces of any choice of fairy silk that you choose. We're going to need about, let's see, with the 5, we're going to need 5 head pins to do the actual bracelet part. And then if you want to put any dangles, you'll need a few extra, maybe 3 or 4 extra. But these are so gorgeous, guys. I just received these. These are called the Plum, Rose, and Silver head pins from Jesse James Beads. And aren't they gorgeous? I just couldn't resist. I'm going to have to use these. And then what I decided this time, and you can use any mix or any beads that you choose for this project, but what I decided this time is I just got this gorgeous strand of Swarovski crystals. And this is called a Pinch of Love from Jesse James Bead and Swarovski. So I'm going to be using this on this bracelet. In case it isn't obvious already, yeah, I'm going to be keeping this bracelet. So, and then I got these gorgeous tencha beads. These are the Peacock Twirl Minis. They're 12 millimeters. They are absolutely gorgeous. I want to try to incorporate those. You're going to need your 8 millimeter jump rings, and you're going to need about 7 or 8 of them. Let's see what I got here. I got 7 here, and that's going to include the bracelet part as well as like the ones that you're going to need to put on the clasp and things like that. And you're going to need a clasp, a 2-inch piece of chain, 2 12-inch pieces of 20 gauge wire, and I've got some oval jump rings here that I'm going to be using in case I need them to attach the charms to the chain. And then these are just a few little bow charms that I picked up, and I thought, well, wouldn't these be cute just to hang on some of the dangles onto that and onto the bracelet. So the first thing we're going to start out by doing is wrapping our ends of our bracelet. Oh, and you know, guys, for tool wise, you probably know, but we're going to need the usual suspects. We're going to need flush cutter, wire straightener, possibly round nose plier, chain nose plier, and this is my tweezer plier. So the basics. So we're going to start out by wrapping the ends. Let me push this other stuff kind of back a little bit so it doesn't get in the frame. We're going to start out by wrapping the ends of the sari silk. Now, if you saw my other tutorial, you already have seen this technique where we wrap the ends of it and just it's basically making it to be able to link into something. A clasp usually is the case, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to line up my 2 pieces of sari silk on the end here, and I'm going to give myself, let's see, this is about quarter to half an inch of sari silk. I'm going to lay my wire across the 2 pieces of fairy silk and leave about an inch on that side, because this is going to kind of give you leverage to be able to control the wire better. So basically we're just going to start out, and the first few wraps are a little difficult, but once you get those, it's easy to do. And you can see I just kind of made a U shape around the fairy silk, and I'm going to bring that wire up around the front. Now this is our first wrap, so we want to kind of go back in there and make sure everything's snug. I'm kind of tightening that up a little bit. It doesn't have to be, you know, terribly tight, but I'm kind of adjusting that other wire to kind of snug it around better for us. So, and then you're just going to do a few more wraps. Usually I would say I do between 8 and 10 wraps for the end. And I'm just continuing, just wrapping around. Oops, get that on this side of it. Make sure that your loops that you're making are right beside each other. I'm just kind of adjusting here. All right, and then we'll bring this one. Oh, that's not working. Let's get her back. Rewind a little bit. I want to get that right where I want it. Okay, good. And as many times as I've done this, sometimes I still, you know, it takes me some time. It can be a challenge depending on what you are doing with it. All right, so, but I'm sure you guys will get this no problem. Okay, and I'm just wrapping around. And let's see, how many wraps do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. Let's do a couple more. Now, if you'd like, you can use a thinner gauge of wire to do this. I prefer the 20 gauge because I like it to have some substance on the end of it. I like this to be a little bit more solid and secure. That's just my preference. So, okay, so I've done some wraps. I've done, I think, only about 5 or 6, but we'll go with that for today. Oops, I hit the camera with my wire. And then I'm just going to take my wire straightener and straighten the wire out a little bit. And I'm going to make it point straight up in the air, okay? We're going to have it just go straight up in the air from the end where we stopped, okay? Just straight out. See that? And then we're going to trim the end of the fairy silk off just to kind of neaten that area up a little bit so we can do the end. And we are going to wrap down over this again. So it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because it more than likely will be covered up. So, okay. Then what we're going to do is once we have that trimmed, we're going to take this wire across the tip top of what we just trimmed. Okay, you can see how that goes across the top. And then what we're going to do is turn it back vertical, okay? This is where we're going to stick in our round nose pliers, okay? And you can make your loop whatever size you like, but I'm gonna go with, you know, about a 1/4 inch up on the round nose. Then you're basically just going to continue and make a wrap loop. So bring that around your round nose plier and back. Then I readjust with my round nose and then wrap. So I'm going to get a few wraps up toward the tip top just to kind of secure that loop before I start working my way back down. I like a little bit of a messy wrap, so you'll notice that my wraps aren't necessarily neat and tidy. It's just what I prefer. I prefer a more organic look on my pieces. So as you can see, I'm just wrapping down those loops that we already made. And I'm coming down here to the bottom. I'm going to do one more around so we all kind of look. So that's basically it, guys. You can see you have your loop on there. It's secured tightly. So now we're going to trim it. So I'm going to take my flush cutters, of course the flush side, against the wire. I'm going to trim off this end piece. Just hold on to your wires. Don't want anybody injured in the making of bracelets, that's for sure. And then trim off that piece. And then go ahead in with my tweezer pliers and squeeze that down to kind of hide it in amongst those other wires, and just so it's not grabbing on to any clothing or anyone's hair or anything. So I think we got that. Okay, so there's one end. And we're going to go back here and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're going to take our second piece of wire. I tend to make a mess when I create, guys, so. And we're going to hold our two fairy silk pieces together again, going in 1/4 to 1/2 inch off the end. And I just want to make sure these are fairly even, and they are. We're going to cross over the fairy silk with our wire, and we're going to leave about 1 inch. We're going to do our first wrap, and as you can see, like on my first wrap, I'm kind of sticking my finger in there just to kind of get a nice loop before I put it up against, before I put it up against the fairy silk. Okay. All right, so here we go. This is the fun part, the start. Oh, come on now. All right, we're gonna try it one more time here, guys. All right, so we got that around, and then I'm just kind of gonna do like we did before. I'm gonna use this wire that's in the back here that we left, and the wire, the main wire, and I'm gonna kind of snug them down together to try to get a good link, a good hook onto this piece of fairy silk. Okay, so as you can see, I'm like twisting the wire and kind of clamping it down there more. Okay, so we got quite a few wraps just by doing that, by securing it. So let's just do a few more. And then I'm gonna move this up just a smidge though, because I don't want to use all that sorry silk or fairy silk. I did this in my last video too. I don't know why I can't get it straight. It is fairy silk, Trish. Okay, so we've got those wraps done. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going back over them. All right, so we're going to turn our wire to be vertical. We're going to take our straighteners again, just to kind of give it a nice straightening, and trimming off this fairy silk. Just to kind of get it so we can hide it down in that loop. Okay. That should work. I think we'll be okay with that. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it across the top. And then we're going to grab that about halfway through the area that is across the top of the fairy silk. And then we're going to go back to being vertical, okay? So you can see what I did, guys. I just kind of went to the center of the end. So then we can go ahead and start with our wrap loop. So basically, I'm just going to take my round nose pliers in, around the same place that I made the other loops, so they're about the same size, and we're going to do our 90-degree flip. And again, everybody does these loops differently, but that's what we're doing here today. And then we're going to take it across and then wrap. Again, we're securing that loop first, and then we're going to start working our way back down. That's why I give myself so much wire, because I like to be able to have enough wire to work with. I like to have a little bit extra in case I can't get, you know, what I wanted out of that short piece. It just makes it easier, honestly, guys. And it gives you some room to groove, basically, is what it comes down to. All right, so, and we're just wrapping our way down this area that we already secured, just like we did before. Trying to kind of give it a uniform look the whole way down. And I think that's pretty good. Maybe one more wrap. And there we go. So now we have that end loop made. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to trim. Now, guys, that's probably the hardest part of the whole project. So if you can get that done, you're pretty much home free. Because the rest of it's just wrap loops and opening and closing jump rings. So I'm just pushing those ends down again, just making sure we're good and snug. And also that that's not going to get a hold of anyone's clothing or anything like that. Okay, so there we go. We have both of our ends done. What I like to do next is I like to just go ahead and attach my jump rings. Because then when I've got all of my head pins made, then I can just hook them on and we're ready to roll, okay? So the basic adage here for your jump ring opening closing, we're going forward to backward. We're never going to go side to side because that's going to distort your jump ring and it will not work for you after that. It will not do what it's supposed to do. And then I'm just putting it around both pieces of the fairy silk and then just closing it. Front to back again. Okay. And we're just going to attach 5 of these. If you want to right now, you can of course put the ones on the ends of the bracelet too to save a little bit of a step later. There's another one, which I think we will do because, hey, we're all about saving time, right? Okay. Number 3. And that is our church up on the hill across from our house, in case you hear the bells ringing. It's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. It's kind of overcast, but it's just a nice temperature, you know. All right, so one more here in the center. Right here. We're on both pieces. Close, and then we're going to put the end ones on. We can even go as far as attaching our clasp on one end and putting our loop on the other end. And then we can just set this aside while we make our 5 dangles that we need for the bracelet. Okay, so there's that. And then we're going to put the loop and the chain on the opposite end. All right, so that gives us a 2-inch extender chain on that end. All right, so this is basically done, ready to go. All we have to do now is just do our dangles to attach to this piece. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside while we do that. Now, this is, like I said, this is called the A Pinch of Love with Swarovski crystal. And as you can see, this is absolutely breathtaking. I mean, Swarovski, you just can't go wrong. So we're going to cut that apart as much as it pains me. And I'm going to put this silver bead out of here. And then just pull the strand. Woo, that's always difficult for me to cut these strands. But, you know, we can always get more if need be, hopefully. So I'm going to take these gorgeous head pins. As I said, these are just absolutely a stunner as well. And I'm going to start building my pins, okay? So I think I'm going to start with this beautiful AB coated crystal heart. And we're going to put that on first. And you can see by using those head pins, that adds metal right into your piece. And you didn't even have to put a spacer bead or anything like that. And let's put, I don't think I want that on there. Let's put this tiny little bicone on the top of this one. And again, I'm just going to build these and then make our loops. We'll probably do simple loops because of the length of this head pin. Usually I like to work with more wire or like a 3-inch head pin. To do wrap loops is just easier for me personally. So you can decide now, you know, what you want your bracelet to look like. I'm going to try to incorporate as many of these hearts as I possibly can. And so I put this other one on, which is like a real pretty peachy pink color. I guess you can't see it with my pink nails, but there we go. And I'm going to just put this heart bead, silver heart bead on top of that one. We'll get these all made and then we'll do our loops. It's 2. And then we're probably going to want to do, let's see what I'll have on these ones. I like to put little dangles on the chain as well. I think it just adds to it. Let's look at this one. So I have 3 dangles and then I have a tassel on the end of this one. So it's your choice how much you want on there, but we're going to do those as well. Okay, so I want the other AB heart. And then one of these large, gorgeous crystal bicones. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh, gorgeous. And then I think on this one, we'll put the heart on the bottom. The metal heart, excuse me. And then one of our peachy pink ones. And you can make these all uniform if you want to. I personally don't. I like it to have a little bit of interest to it. But that's completely up to you. If you can't handle them being all different, do you. All right, so we'll put one of these little crystals, the silver rondelles. And let's do another one, our last heart here. And then another one of those crystals on top. Okay? That's basically it. So there's our 5. So now let's make our 3 or 4 that we're going to do for the chain part. So I love these rondelles I'm spying here. So we're going to try to incorporate those. I'm trying to figure what's going to be the best route for that. Don't know. These are so pretty, these little hexagonal crystals. All right, so let's put one of those on. One of the hexagonal crystals. Look at that, guys. So gorgeous. Excuse me. And let's see if one of our rondelles will look nice on there. Yes, it does. Let's do that for that one. And let's do a crystal bicone. And let's see if one of these look good there. Nope, I don't like that on top of that bicone. I think I just might leave it with the gorgeous head pin and the crystal. I do like that. And then one last one. We're going to do more of the silver color crystal. Has a little bit more of an AB on it. And then, let's see. I don't know that I want one of those on there. I guess I could because that would kind of coordinate with the hearts that we have laying here as well. Okay, so let's set these other ones to the side. We did our 3 and we're going to cherish those extra ones. And then we're just going to do loops. What I like to do for mine For my simple loops, I cheat. And I use the 1-step looper. I really like it. This is the 1.5 millimeter loop. It's the smallest one. To me, it just makes life so much easier when you're doing simple loops. So basically, it works like this. You stick the head pin in, and you gotta make sure, like when you push this right up against it, you don't want to do that with crystals. You want to back off just a hair. Okay? And then it goes throughout this hole in the side, and then you just squeeze. And you give it like a little twist back. And there you go. And then when you're ready to put it on, it's a little bit open for you to go ahead and put on. And I really, really like it. It works well. That's for us lazy, simple loop makers. I would make grab loops all day long. But these simple loops, nope. And these head pins are really nice. They're not too heavy. They're not too thin. They have a nice gauge to them. I don't think it says what gauge they are, but I'm gonna guess like a 20 or 22. Okay, so same thing, just sticking her in the cheater device. And I'm just backing off the hair, guys, because I don't want my crystals broken. I learned that the hard way. I busted some crystals and my heart hurt after that, so certainly not worth it. All right, so I'm just taking it, pushing it through, pushing it right up against, and then just backing off hair and squeeze. And you can see we're almost done. Hey, I'm all about the easy ways, guys. Whoops. Drop that. Can't lose those. Quick and simple. All right. Almost there. Our last 3. Okay. And then this one has the rondelle on top. You don't have to be as nervous about it, but I still would back off a hair because there's a crystal underneath it. Okay. I just love these head pins. I cannot say enough about them. Just gorgeous. All right, so right up against, back off just a hair. And there we go. Now, we have our tension bead. I didn't make anything with my tension bead, and that's hurting my heart. So what I think I'm gonna do is make the center bead with my tension, one of my tension beads, and then use one of our peach colored hearts or amber colored hearts as a dangle, an extra dangle, so that would give us 4 dangles then, and then we will use this tension bead as our center. So I want to put a crystal or something on top of it. I think I'm just going to go with a basic, one of the crystal bicones, and then just do our loop. As I said, this is going to be mine, so, you know, we can put tension beads in Swarovski crystals. The ones I sell, I also use Swarovski and tension beads on, but I'm definitely keeping this one. All right, guys, so, and I had these little bows that I thought about using. We'll have to see. I'm not sure how it's going to look, but let's get our bracelet back in here. And at this point, we're almost done, guys. It's just a quick, easy project that has a lot of, makes a statement as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so I want to put this tension bead, I'm going to use my chain nose pliers and open up my loop. And I want this to be my center, okay? So with 5, you can do that. That's why I do an odd number. Let's see. I want to just kind of see how this looks with the bow. because I'm all about more is more. Yeah, that's pretty cute. So we're going to find, I'm going to get one of my oval jump rings out. Some of my oval jump rings out. Oh, that's so cute. All right, and I'm going to use one of those to attach to the center ring. That looked like that was attached, didn't it? Okay, so there's 2 on this side, and I have 2 on this side. So this is my center. Take one of my jump rings. Open that up. Now, as you can see, the way these loops are turned, and I want to put it on here, it's going to hang sideways, so we're going to have to put 2 just to get it to hang right. Okay. If you were just going to use the loop to attach, you'd be perfectly fine because you could make your loop go any direction you wanted it to. But, you know, me, have to make things difficult. So, let's see. Hook that on. Front to back. Oval jump ring. I love oval jump rings. They are so nice because then they don't seem to come open as easily. I try to make sure all of my loops are closed well anyway. But as you can see, the opening is on the side. So where the jump ring rests, it rests on either end. It's not as likely for it to come undone in the long run. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's really cute. Turn it the right way here. Digging the bow, digging the bow. Okay, so let's put we'll just put a bow on the middle one there and see how that looks for now. But this is what I mean, just by opening up your simple loop. Okay, and then just attaching it to your jump ring. Easy enough. Open and close, straighten her up a little bit. That way then, you know, you can turn it any way you want to and you're going to get your dangle to hang the right way. Sorry, lots of words there for a moment. All right, so let's do this one as well because this is kind of coordinates with the one on the other side. All right. 2 more. And again, you can choose to put jump rings on them if you want them to hang a little differently. You certainly can do that. Sky's the limit, guys. I'm sure you all come up with some gorgeous designs. Okay. Is that one? And just one more. I'll have to see how all of this hangs with that bow if I decide to keep it. But I right now I really like it. I think it adds to it, but we'll see. Maybe I'll go back and do all bows. But for now, we're going to go this route. All right, we're just closing our jump ring. And there are the 5 for the bracelet part. I'm just going to hook this together. And you can see, guys, what we have there. It's really cute. Very simple, very feminine. Very blingy. Can't go wrong with that. And then we're going to attach the ones to the chain. And again, you can do this however you want to. I think I'm going to put this heart on the very end. because I kind of like having one just dangling right off the end of my chain. Okay. That one. Let's see here. So we'll put this one in the middle-ish area. Just see how the rings are already open from doing the one-step looper. And you just have to close them, basically, is all it comes down to. Okay. Put one up toward the top. And then another one about halfway between the middle one and the bottom one. And you can put, if you want to add more rings and dangles to the center, you certainly can. It would look good with 7 or 9 even. Your call. Depends on how heavy you want it to be and how you want it to look. All right, guy, get on there. Our rondelle keeps popping up toward the center there. Up to the top, excuse me. All right. And that is it, guys. That is it. That's the project for today. Our fairy silk bracelet. There we go. I'll give you a look. How it looks all finished. You can spread your loops out. Really, really pretty. Easy and beautiful, high impact project that you could certainly sell in your shop. I hope you guys enjoyed this project. I know I enjoyed making it. And I hope to see you in the next one, guys. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.